What's going on, guys? It's Colin here for NextGenTactics, and I wanted to bring you some more Battlefield Bad Company 2 gameplay. This time we're playing Rush on Phu Valley, which is one of the maps on the Vietnam expansion pack. And I think I mentioned in a previous video that this expansion pack, the DLC, was an incredible add-on and a great value, and I had a lot of fun playing it, and I kind of still like to go back and forth between Vietnam and the original game. But the purpose of this video was to present to you a series that I had started on my channel that I wanted to bring over here to NextGenTactics, and I'd put out 3 episodes so far, but the series was entitled Battlefield Back to Basics. And in that series, what I was doing was bringing tips and tricks for people who are newer to the game, who maybe picked it up over Christmas or even more recently than that, and are struggling to get used to it. And the first episode was entitled Move Up, and what I was talking about in that video was that in rush mode, in particular, it's always important to move forward. And I found that with a lot of the newer players playing right now, one of the issues plaguing the game is that on rush, people sit back. And I don't know if that's a lack of comfort with the weapons or with their reflexes or skills, but it seems that a lot of times when you're defending on rush, the better part of an entire team will sit back. And sometimes, you know, they'll sit back with a sniper rifle, sometimes they'll sit back with other weapons, but generally it makes for, you know, boring gameplay, long drawn-out games, and it makes it impossible for the attacking team to win if they have teammates not helping them out who are simply sitting back. And so in this gameplay, I move up quite aggressively. And, you know, one thing that you have to get used to when you first start playing Battlefield, I realize that you see a lot of footage on YouTube where the commentator or the person presenting the gameplay is getting a ton of kills and very few deaths. And when they're doing that, most often they are providing a mobile spawn point for their team. So they are up somewhere near the objective, although not right in the action, and they're providing a spawn point for the team, and they're picking off defenders. And, you know, with that type of gameplay, you tend to get a higher number of kills and a lower number of deaths. So, you know, the final score looks more impressive, but unfortunately, you know, everyone can't play that role. And so what I've found is that you have people who are near the objective sometimes, maybe they moved up, maybe they haven't, but they're just sitting back shooting defenders. And, you know, what you have to realize is that the defense have an unlimited number of respawn tickets, so you can sit there and shoot them all day. But if somebody doesn't take the initiative to go arm the objective, then you're going to lose the game. And that's actually the topic of the second video that I put out, and that was playing the objective. And in that video, you know, I presented a gameplay where I pretty much did my average KD. It was about a 1.5. And in this game, I think I do a little bit better than that, but I perform a couple of different roles throughout this gameplay. I'll push up and provide a forward spawn point for my teams. Occasionally I'll go in and arm an objective, and what I also do in a couple of situations is basically play an agitator role where I distract the defenders enough for my team to move up or to get one of the objectives. So, you know, this is kind of a mixed bag of gameplay, if you will, but I wanted to use this to introduce the first 2 videos that I had already done on this series before I continue on NextGenTactics, so that basically the content's in sync and we're not missing any information. And the question that I've probably seen most frequently since being introduced over on NextGenTactics is that players are struggling to do well starting out and, you know, don't know what kit they should select and that sort of thing. And actually, I just want to point out right here that I make a mistake, or there's a bit of a glitch in the game, and I attempt to respawn on a teammate, but it puts me all the way back at spawn, which is a position that you never want to be in if you can avoid it. If your team has moved forward, then you are able to spawn on one of them, and you can keep constant pressure on the defense. Now, in this situation, you know, I just basically run back into the action, and it gives me a little bit more time to talk. But if you're new to the game and you're struggling, then what I would suggest is that you pick up the assault kit. The weapons are really good. They're very versatile, and you can find that you're doing well at a variety of different ranges with them. So in the Vietnam expansion pack, you can't go wrong using the AK-47. Now, some people have complained that this gun's a little bit overpowered, but in reality, in Vietnam, there's only 3 assault weapons available: the AK-47, the M16, and the M14. And the M14 I find quite difficult to use. In my hands, it's not a very good gun. The M16 is probably better at close range, but I find it more difficult to control and less versatile at all ranges, and then you have the AK. So, you know, there's not much variety, so you will see quite a bit of AK-47 gameplay from me, although I do like to mix it up and use the M16 when playing Vietnam. But, you know, you can't go wrong with the assault kit, the AK-47 on the Vietnam expansion pack, and actually right here I'm playing the agitator role. And go back to just talking about the kits for a minute. And in the vanilla game, if you want to call it that, the first unlock you have, or the default weapon you have, is the AEK-971, and that one is a little bit of a challenge to use, I won't lie, especially without magnum ammunition, which increases your bullet damage. But once you unlock the second gun, which is the XM8 prototype, in my opinion, that's the best assault rifle in the game all around. So, if you stick with the assault kit and rank it up until you get that XM8 prototype unlocked, then I think you're going to enjoy your experience a whole lot more. But, you want to be moving forward, and, you want to be focused on the objectives and on winning. And if you're coming over from other first-person shooters, like Call of Duty, for example, I know that there's a high focus placed on kill-death ratio in that game. And in Battlefield, that's not really the case. Now, some people will dwell on their kill-death ratio, but if you're starting out, I'd recommend that you not do that. Focus on playing the objectives and playing to win and performing the role that is assigned to your kit. So with the assault kit, once you unlock the ammo boxes, drop those all over the place. The other kits, like engineer, repair vehicles, destroy vehicles. If you're the medic, then, basically revive teammates once you unlock the defibrillator paddles, and throw health packs all over the place. And you get a ton of points for doing that. You get a lot of points for arming and destroying objectives. So, if you do those sorts of things, you're going to rank up and you're going to help your team out a lot more than just sitting back with the recon kit sniping.
Well, okay, Colin, we're going to have to cut you off right there and go to a public service announcement around the proper use of the medic kit and possibly the recon kit as well. If you run around with the medic kit reviving your teammates without clearing the area and ensuring their safety, you will become known as a Rambo reviver who is in it for the points, and no one likes a Rambo reviver. If you sit too far back with a 12-time scope on, maybe even a couple of bases back, shooting at defenders and not helping your team, you'll become known as a bushwookie, which is a species that really should become extinct on the battlefield. Anyway, I think we're going to need a couple of future videos addressing the proper use of these kits in our opinion. And now back to your regularly scheduled commentary.
Okay, where were we? Yes, okay, let's get back into this. But that was some good advice. And I will put out a video dedicated to the recon kit because a lot of people have asked for it. But for now, if you're new to the game, I really would recommend that you pick up the assault kit, maybe the medic kit, or, the guns are great. You can do well with the engineer kit as well, but, if you're just struggling to get your gun skills up and get kills, then I would stick with assault for now. So I guess that's my advice to the newer players. Right here, I've gone in and flanked, or dropped out of the helicopter and armed another objective. So some people will stay up and gun for too long in the chopper. I just cleared out enough enemies to make sure that I had a clear line of sight to parachute down and arm the objective, and that was the end of it. And, I pick off a few more and then I get dropped. I get revived by a teammate, and coming up here is a pretty epic knife battle. I think that this defender takes a swing at me while I'm invincible, and then I'm able to just shank him in the neck. So it was kind of amusing. I was laughing when that happened. Actually, I think I was roaring when that happened, to be more accurate. So right there, though, you see I've played the objective, and now I'm going to push forward and play the cutoff man / agitator role a little bit more so that my team can move into position up the right-hand side so we can get the final objective. So as you can see, I've done a number of different things in this game. I do die a number of times, so, don't be afraid to die. In Battlefield, if you're playing aggressively and you're in and around the objectives, you're going to take deaths. And if you're not used to that sort of thing, well, get used to it in Battlefield, especially in Rush. And, routinely when I'm playing on defense and I'm playing a role like destroying vehicles, I go negative all the time. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about your KD. The stat that I focus most on is my win-loss and how am I doing. And right now, the agitator roles worked. My team's pushed up as you want them to do, and I'm able to hop in and arm the final objective. So anyway, guys, just to kind of summarize before I move on with a new video in this Back to Basics series, push up, play the objective, don't worry too much about your KD, and if you don't put yourself in challenging situations, then you're not going to improve in those situations. So pick up the assault kit and get in the action. That's probably the best advice I can give to new players, but I'm going to continue on with this series, and we'll talk the very basics, kit selections and that sort of thing, and I'll go through the ups and downs of the various different weapons that I like to use, specs that I like to run. So thumbs up the video if you want to see more of this Back to Basics. I felt that this was a pretty good game on my part, where I demonstrated my average playstyle. I do a lot of different things, play objectives, play the agitator role, and because of it, I'm going to take some deaths, make some mistakes, but all in all, it turned out pretty well. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers, we'll talk soon. Considers locating this village paramount, stating it is
Hey guys, we're on Facebook. Check the description of this video for the link to our new Facebook application. Subscribe and get our latest video updates posted right on the wall on your own Facebook page.